Yeah, it's getting late.
Yeah. We'll finish up the whole film.
Actually, we got 3 octogenarians right now.
Octogenarians?
Is it 5 or 10 seconds, I guess. Okay, good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to our board meeting. Can we all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Megan, will you call the roll?
Trustee Lautner.
Here.
Trustee Zara.
Here.
Trustee Seidel. Here. Trustee Council. Here. Trustee Sheehan.
Here.
Trustee Stewart.
Here.
President DeCipio.
Here.
A quorum is present, Mr. President.
Thank you, Megan. Are we presenting something? Okay, next up on our agenda is the recognition of the Community Park District of LaGrange Park on their achievement of winning the Illinois Park and Recreation Association's Outstanding Park and Facility of the Year. The Park District's new multi-sport courts at Memorial Park were voted the association's 2021 Outstanding Park and Facility, and they made history by receiving a perfect score, the highest total from any district in the state. We're very proud of this project that has come to fruition. We want to present a plaque to the Community Park District in recognition of their commitment to excellence, dedicated partnership, and overall positive impact on our community. Now, about a month ago, we were invited to the Park District meeting, and they presented us with a plaque in appreciation of our efforts to help support their project. So tonight it's our turn to have you guys come up front, and we really appreciate everything you guys have done. It looks beautiful. What's that? I have a dental appointment. Dr. Cordy. So if Jessica or Lucy, President Lucy, would you please come up? Or if all, we did at the Village Hall, all of us came up, so come on. Yep. All of you guys. It's one mic, but 4 voices. Okay, LaGrange Park presented to the Community Park District of LaGrange Park, winner of the Illinois Park and Recreation Association's 2022 Outstanding Park and Facility Award, Memorial Park Multi-Sport Courts. In recognition of your commitment to excellence, dedicated partnership, and overall positive impact on our community, congratulations on this high achievement. President Lucy.
Thank you. Thank you. I want to thank all of you for your support for this project. And I also want to invite you, if you look on page 56 in our summer program, you will see that there is an invitation to sign up for the park, I mean, the multipurpose court to get an orientation to that. So take a look at that and be a part of it. Thank you.
Thank you, President Stastny.
I'll try to keep it very brief. This project almost didn't happen. It was the village support that really amplified and moved it forward. We received the grant from the National Fitness Campaign prior to the COVID-19 pandemic response. So when we learned that we had won this grant opportunity, we actually had quite a few alternative sources of revenue that were available to us. And then the pandemic hit and those funds dried up. So the village, Julia, staff, Rick, I mean, people helped us through the process from start to finish. We couldn't have done it without you. And, you know, I mean, the planning and zoning board was absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's a wonderful illustration of how our organizations collaborate together to provide incredible opportunities for the residents of Grange Park. So thank you very much.
Again, thank you to the Park District. It's a great facility. And so last year we had a golf outing. We're going to have a golf outing this year too, but I think we're going to have a pickleball tournament with the new courts. Maybe the village against the Park District or something like that, you know.
That'd be good.
Thank you guys for coming. Lucy. Never played that. Hopefully we will. Okay, next up on the agenda is public participation of agenda-related items only. If anyone would care to address the board, now would be the time. Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to consent agenda. Megan?
Thank you, Mr. President. The items on this evening's consent agenda are as follows. A, approval of minutes. 1, Village Board meeting, March 22nd, 2022. 2, Village Board work session, April 12th, 2022. 3, closed session, April 12th, 2022. B, action, resolution approving fiscal year 2022-2023 pay plan. Motion to approve a resolution approving pay plan and schedule of authorized positions for fiscal year 2022-2023. Action, accounts payable and payroll summary. Motion, 1, to authorize the president and chairperson of the finance committee to sign the register for bills and authorize the treasurer and village clerk to sign checks in payment of operating bills and salaries as itemized in the check registers. And motion 2, to authorize the village treasurer and village clerk to sign checks in the payment of payroll and other bills that become due between this date and the next village board meeting, with subsequent approval of the payroll register and voucher register by the Board of Trustees at its next meeting.
Okay, motion to approve consent agenda is presented.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Motion is second. Megan, call the roll.
Trustee Lautner?
Yes.
Trustee Zara?
Yes.
Trustee Sayal?
Yes.
Trustee Council?
Yes.
Trustee Sheehan?
Yes.
Trustee Stewart?
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously, Mr. President.
Great, thank you, Megan. Up next is our village manager, Julia.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have just one item to report this evening. A lot of information will go out this week about the village's streetscape improvement plan. We have a kickoff meeting coming up, so there will be a lot of information going out in the community about that event taking place, as well as the overall project. And more information will be available in the administration department report this evening. However, there is going to be another campaign that we're going to be running that starts just this week, and that is information to our residents about the Lead Service Line Replacement Act. So our consulting firm has put together quite a bit of communications. So we will be updating the village's website this week. Information will be going out in the e-briefs, and information about the initial survey to conduct our first study area as part of this overall plan will happen this summer in the coming days. So we will be doing surveys of 300 homes in the village, and so information about all of that will be going out to the community starting this week. So I encourage folks to look for that information, ask questions, get involved. This is substantial legislation, and this is going to be a substantial and multi-year project for the village. So it's very important that folks are involved and engaged in the process. We cannot achieve this plan successfully without the participation of our residents. And so with that completes my report.
Thank you, Julia. Moving on, Administration Committee, Trustee Council.
Thank you, Mr. President. The administration report is as follows. There will be a Community Volunteer Day. The village's annual Community Volunteer Day will take place Saturday, May 14, from 9 a.m. to 1 o'clock p.m. Volunteers will provide assistance to older adults in the community who need help with basic lawn care and spring cleaning. This day of service is a great opportunity for individuals, families, and organizations to support their neighbors and make a positive mark on the community. Visit the village's website to register for the event or to request volunteer assistance. Contact Maggie Jar, Assistant Village Manager, for more information. The next item is the Community Wellness Programs. This spring, the Village of Grange Park and NAMI, Metro Suburban, are co-hosting a series of free community programs focused on mental health and wellness. The next event, titled Burnout and Self-Care, will take place on Monday, May 16 from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. via Zoom. This is the latest session of the series, and it will focus on learning about burnout symptoms, causes, risk factors, and consequences, and discussing how mindfulness and resilience are proven techniques to decrease stress. All are welcome to attend, and participation is easy. Visit the village's website for the Zoom meeting link or register via Eventbrite. And that concludes my report, Mr. President.
Thank you, Trustee Council. Building and Zoning Committee, Trustee Zora.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to report the building department activities for March of 2022. 101 building permits were issued in March compared to 87 last March. 163 permits have been issued this year to date compared to 170 at this point in 2021. Estimated construction costs for the month were nearly $2 million, nearly double what they were in March of 2021. Permit fees collected were just over $32,000 compared to $22,000 last March. 130 inspections were conducted this past March compared to 145 in March of 2021. 7 were not approved. Patrick met with several residents early in the month to discuss rear yard drainage and basement seepage concerns in an effort to help identify potential causes and provide options for correction. Patrick and Maggie met with the Grange staff to discuss permitting issues for a handful of residential properties where the actual property is located on the border of both villages. The architectural plan review for Andy's was completed, which required several revisions. The revised plans were submitted and approved, but there are various other issues still to be addressed before a permit can be issued. Patrick met with the construction team for Plymouth Place East Campus redevelopment regarding the demo of the cottages. The demo work will begin in May. Final inspections were conducted for Hop District Community Brewing Company. The project is nearing completion, but there are still several items to be completed. Some rough inspections were completed for Bethlehem Woods Memory Care Project, and that is all I have to report. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Zora. Engineering Capital Projects, Trustee Stewart.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have 3 items to report on this evening. First being Copenhagen Construction began underground work at the intersection of Community Drive and Monroe Avenue as part of the permeable pavement intersection project. The pavement was removed and a 6-inch water main within the intersection was replaced. After the entire intersection had been excavated and filled with stone, the surface restoration of curbs and bricks will take place. Copenhagen will then start work at the intersection of Sherwood Road and Monroe Avenue. Second item, Sewer Tech LLC started work on the 21-22 sewer and cleaning and televising program. The combination sewers on Alima, Ostrander, Raymond, and Harrison Avenue between 26th Street and 31st Street are scheduled for televising and cleaning. This is a yearly maintenance program to keep sewers functioning at full capacity and also document sections that need repair. Third and final item, Hancock Engineering began work on this contract with the village for the lead water service replacement program. Work started on designing a survey form that will be delivered to residents, asking them to identify the material of their water water service line within the building. All municipalities are required to submit a final inventory of their lead water services to the Illinois EPA by April 15th, 2024. It is suspected that about 3,500 water services may have some sections of lead in the service line between the water main and the street and the meter in the building. And that concludes my report this evening.
Thank you, Trustee Stewart. Public Safety Committee, Trustee Seidel.
Thank you, Mr. President. Total number of crimes reported for the first 3 months of 2022 are significantly lower than last year, with 86 incidents reported this year compared to 167 in 2021. The reporting of fraudulent unemployment claims related to the pandemic has drastically decreased, causing this significant drop. Traffic enforcement is at 752 total tickets issued through March of 2022. Overall police activity is 42% higher to last year, with 1096 total incidents reported in the month of March 2022, compared to 715 total incidents in the months of March 2021. Of those 1096 total incidents, 66 were assists to the fire department, 422 were self-initiated building or park checks, 153 were traffic stops, and 42 were closed home checks. Department members attended 83 hours of training, along with the completion of required monthly online training, Lexapol daily training bulletins, along with bloodborne pathogens and hazmat training. Numerous members of the department took part in the Special Olympics Polar Plunge and raised nearly $6,000 for the cause. Coffee with the chief and staff took part on March 15th at Panera Bread. Some great conversations and laughs took place. Thanks to all who attended. Hinsdale Humane Society brought in 2 therapy dogs to visit with staff. Special thanks to Rico Suave and Fiesta. Sergeant Matt Fellers and PD staff were honored by the Chicago Wolves at Hometown Heroes for its efforts in both National Night Out and Special Olympics Illinois. Mark your calendars and do not miss out on the upcoming police department special events. DEA Drug Take Back Day is Saturday, April 30th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. in the Village Hall lobby. This program offers a safe, convenient, and responsible means of disposing of unwanted or expired medications. Please note, only drugs in pill form will be accepted, no liquids. Please empty all drugs from the original containers, bottles, or blister packs and place in sealed baggie for drop-off. Can't make it April 30th? A permanent drop box is located in the Village Hall lobby with drop-off access during regular business hours between 9 and 4:30 p.m. Bike auction. Police Department will be hosting a bicycle auction on May 14th, 2022 at 9 a.m. in the Police Department garage. The garage is located on the south side of the building. Over 35 bicycles will be up for auction. Please follow the Police Department on their Facebook page at LaGrange Park Police Department, our Twitter account at LaGrange Park PD, and Instagram at LaGrange Park PD. A friendly reminder about securing one's personal property at all times. Please lock your vehicles and residence, especially during overnight hours. If you're going on vacation, please utilize the new online vacation watch portal, frontlinepss.com/LaGrange Park, or log into the village website and access the portal under the police department page. If you do not have internet access, feel free to fill out a vacation watch card at PD between the hours of 9 a.m. and 4:30 p.m. That concludes the police department report. Next, the fire department activities for March of 2022. EMS incidents this month are 148. There's been 448 year-to-date compared to 401 year-to-date in 2021. Fire rescue incidents this month is 36. There has been 123 year-to-date compared to 109 year-to-date in 2021. During the month, the Foreign Fire Tax Board met and approved funding and several pieces of equipment, including helmets, batteries for power tools, coats, and a new vacuum for Station 1. Reimbursement was received from the Tri-State Fire District. It was recovered under the Spiller Pays Law for MABUS response to a hazmat incident in Willow Springs in May of 2021. Staff began working on the transition to a new patient care reporting software. It's being implemented by the Loyola EMS system and will probably be implemented in May. Fire officers began planning for proposed live fire training at the Plymouth Place cottages in May. Various fire prevention activities took place in regards to projects in the village. A final fire alarm acceptance test was conducted for Hop District Community Brewing. A hydrostatic and fire sprinkler inspection test was conducted for the expansion of complete rehabilitation in the village market. And a fire sprinkler hydrostatic test was conducted in a new home at 805 North Wyola. Outstanding issues related to a final fire alarm testing at Plaza 31 were inspected and resolved. PSI contract firefighter paramedic Matt Scotts resigned from the department and contract as he was hired full-time with the North Lake FPD. Personnel participated in a birthday drive-by for a Forest Road student with cancer. We wish the family well, and that concludes the fire department report. And that is all I have for public safety.
Thank you, Trustee Seidel. Okay, moving on, Public Works Committee, Trustee Sheehan.
Thank you, Mr. President. The following is the March report for Public Works. DPW repaired 3 water main breaks this month. March only brought 2 snow and ice events for the department. Both events only had minor accumulations, allowing staff to quickly clear the roads for traffic. As weather begins to warm and snow is out of the forecast, salt trucks will start to be turned over for summer operations after tonight. Spring tree planting preparations have been completed with the use of the updated tree inventory and GIS. Planting locations were easily selected to help restore canopy cover of our urban forest. Planting is expected to occur the third week, this week in April. John Jandek attended ISA WWA WaterCon conference in Springfield. Asphalt work was conducted to repair potholes and patch area from excavations. This work will continue throughout the year. Staff began parkway restorations due to debris from winter operations, as well as full restorations from winter excavations. GIS work has continued collecting data on village-owned assets, along with continued training throughout the village. Water meters were read in Section 3. 15 monthly bacterial samples were taken. Various water and sewer work orders were completed, along with resident tree concerns and general construction inquiries. Routine maintenance of the department fleet and equipment was performed, as well to police and fire vehicles. That concludes my report, Mr. President.
Thank you, Trustee Sheehan. And moving on to Finance Committee, Trustee Lautner.
Thank you, Mr. President. As soon as I mute this. For this evening from the finance area, I have the monthly report as well as 2 items for discussion and action. First of all, the monthly report. Fiscal year to date, general fund revenue is at 107.3% of the annual budget and about $798,500 or 8.9% greater than the prior year. Property tax receipts are up about $366,000 or 10.6% compared to the prior year. The county waived late fees through May 3rd last year due to the pandemic versus March 1st of this year. Other local taxes are higher by about $58,000 or almost 6% due primarily to an increase in natural gas tax receipts as prices have increased. The increase in natural gas tax has more than offset the continued decline in telecommunications taxes. Intergovernmental receipts are higher by about $226,000 or 7.5% compared to last year. Income tax is 25% higher than last year, while sales tax is up by 37.6% and use tax is 15.5% lower. The Leveling the Playing Field for Illinois Retail Act required out-of-state retailers and marketplace facilitators to collect and remit state and locally imposed sales taxes for the location where the product is delivered starting January of 2021. Combined sales and use tax is up by about 12.5% compared to last fiscal year. License revenue is lower by about $14,300 or 4.7%. Permit receipts are up 53.7% or about $159,000 compared to the prior year. Charges for services are higher by about $40,400 or 5.2%, and that's mainly due to increased ambulance fee receipts. Fines are down about $33,500 or 21.2%. Total general fund expenditures, excluding the transfer to the capital projects fund, are at 92.8% of the annual budget and about $674,400 or 8.8% higher than last year. The difference is primarily due to personnel expenditures, including police department vacancies in the prior year that have now been filled, and the timing of police pension payments, which follows property tax collections. And as we near the end of the fiscal year, we are projecting that departments will exceed their original budgets and require a budget amendment. The fire department budget includes the increase in cost for the contracted paramedics recently approved by the village board. In the building department, an increase in permit activity has resulted in costs for plan reviews and inspections greater than budgeted. There was also an increase in sidewalk costs in the Public Works Department due to the residential participation program that we put in, exceeding expectations. And the police pension contribution is higher than budgeted due to the timing of the property tax collections. The Administration and Finance Department budget is slightly ahead of budget expectations due to increased costs for legal services, information technology, and zoning reviews. Many of the above costs are offset by additional fees collected by the village, and overall revenues are performing better than expected. Therefore, we are projecting the general fund to end the year in a significantly better position than originally budgeted. A budget amendment resolution is included on tonight's meeting agenda. That concludes the report, and we have 2 items for discussion and action. And that's first of all, the fiscal year 21-22 budget amendments. Village policy requires that the village board amend the annual budget if the total expenditures for a department or fund will exceed the approved budget. State statute authorizes the village board to revise the budget by a 2/3 vote. The following amendments are proposed for the fiscal year 2021-2022 budget. First, the general fund building department budget requires an amendment of $20,000 due to increased plan review fees. These costs are offset by increased permit fees. Second, the general fund police department budget requires an amendment of $50,000 due to increased pension contributions as a result of the timing of property tax collection. And please note that this amendment was added after the work session discussion that was held at the previous meeting. The general fund fire department budget requires an amendment of $61,595 for personnel costs due to the pandemic and increased call volume, and an amendment of $36,700 for an increase in the paramedic service contract. The paramedic costs are anticipated to be partially offset by the increase in ambulance service rates approved in January. The general fund public works department budget requires an amendment of $25,000 for increased sidewalk maintenance costs. These costs are partially offset by revenue from the resident participation program. The 31st Street North LaGrange Road Business District Fund requires an amendment of $28,800 due to the streetscape improvements along Meadowcrest Road. The Capital Projects Fund requires an amendment of $14,000 for replacing cable broadcasting equipment that failed unexpectedly. This cost is expected to be reimbursed by the cable agency. The Capital Projects Fund requires an amendment of $200,000 for the Meadowcrest Road project. This amount will be offset by a CDBG grant. The Capital Projects Fund requires an amendment of $12,000 for the Public Works Department front-end loader. The increased cost is offset by the sale of the old loader. The Road Bond Fund requires an amendment of $21,000 for the Meadowcrest Road project. This cost was moved from the Motor Fuel Tax Fund in order to close out the Road Bond Fund. And last, the Sewer Fund requires an amendment of $180,000 for the Green Intersection project. This cost is offset by a grant from the Midwest Reclamation District. Staff does recommend the Village Board approve these attached budget amendments resolution at tonight's April 26th meeting. I believe where appropriate in each one of these amendments that has come to the board that have been approved by the board. Therefore, I'd like to make a motion to approve a resolution amending the fiscal year 21-22 budget.
Second. A motion and a second. Discussion. Trustee Lautner.
Thank you, Mr. President. As referred, You know, all of these where appropriate, I guess the one exception would be the item that was discussed regarding the police amendment at the last meeting, that this occurred after, and if I could refer to our Director of Finance, maybe just a couple of comments, if you would, Larry, on that, since it did happen after the meeting.
Sure, as noted there, that those costs are reflective of the property taxes that are collected for a specific levy that has to be done for the police pension, and those costs, those amounts have to be transmitted over to the police pension fund. So we received additional collections in April, and so we just want to make sure that we can cover those in the budget.
Excellent, excellent. That's all I had, Mr. President.
Thank you, Trustee Lautner. Any comments from any board members? Seeing none, Megan, call the roll.
Trustee Lautner?
Yes?
Trustee Zara?
Yes.
Trustee Seidel?
Yes.
Trustee Council?
Yes.
Trustee Sheehan?
Yes.
Trustee Stewart?
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously, Mr. President.
Thank you, Megan.
Okay, and the second item for discussion and action is the wrap-up and proposal for the fiscal year 22-23 budget and 5-year plan. Finance Committee has met on March 8th and on March 22nd to review the draft budget and the 5-year plan. There was a list of changes that were submitted, discussed, and approved. To quickly recap that, we enhanced the general fund table and chart data to provide a more user-friendly document. We made various clarifications in the introductory text of the departmental budgets and capital projects fund budget. Under the road bond fund and fire equipment bond fund explanations, we added additional context to explain why nothing is being budgeted in that area for clarification purposes. Excuse me. Provided additional context to the budget notes for fiscal year 21 and 22 variances for clarification, and added $10,000 in legal professional fees to the amendment and finance budget in the general fund. And in the 5-year plan area, we added additional information regarding the village market streetscape improvement plan, explained how recommendations resulting from the study that once complete will be programmed in future budgets in the 5-year plan, and provided additional detail in the introductory paragraph for the capital expenditures. So let's see. Additionally, we adjusted the proposed general fund revenue budget and debt service budget to eliminate revenues projected for the prior year's property tax, and that was a reduction of $47,720 in the anticipated general fund revenues and $23,280 in the anticipated debt service revenues. Recently, Cook County notified us that the 2021 recapture levy was reduced, and so these projected revenues needed to be adjusted. And adjusted the expected fiscal year 21-22 pension contribution to align with actual collections that were remitted to the police pension fund. This adjustment results in an increase in contribution by approximately $50,000 as referenced. So as such, I would like to, first of all, make a motion to approve a resolution approving the fiscal year 22-23 operating budget.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion. Trustee Lautner?
We've discussed this several meetings, including the public meeting at the last meeting with no additional feedback, so I would heartily support the efforts of our staff in putting this together and the work that was conducted to, I think, put together an outstanding budget for the fiscal year 22-23.
Thank you, Trustee Lautner. Any comments from any board members? Any trustees want to make any comments? Seeing none, Megan, call the roll.
Trustee Lautner?
Yes.
Trustee Zara?
Yes.
Trustee Seidel?
Yes.
Trustee Council?
Yes.
Trustee Sheehan?
Yes.
Trustee Stewart?
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously, Mr. President.
Thank you, Megan.
And following on to that, regarding the 5-year plan, I submit a motion to approve the 5-year plan fiscal year 22-23 through fiscal year 26-27.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion. Trustee Lautner?
Follows on with the operating budget discussions that I think gives insight into where we see the village going financially going over the next 5 years. So I support this as well.
Thank you, Trustee Lautner. Any other comments from any board members? Seeing none, Megan, call the roll.
Trustee Lautner.
Yes.
Trustee Zara.
Yes.
Trustee Seidel.
Yes.
Trustee Council.
Yes.
Trustee Sheehan.
Yes.
Trustee Stewart.
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously, Mr. President.
Thank you, Megan. Thank you, Trustee Lautner.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to other reports. Our village clerk,
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report this evening.
our village treasurer,
No report tonight, Mr. President.
our village engineer,
No report tonight, Mr. President.
our village attorney,
I have no report tonight, Mr. President.
and commercial revitalization committee, Trustee Stewart.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have one item to report on this evening, Streetscape Improvement Plan, kickoff event and survey. The village is hosting a public event to kick off the Village Market Streetscape Improvement Plan on Tuesday, May 3rd at the LaGrange Park Public Library. Join us for a presentation, interactive mapping activity, and site walk for those interested between 6:30 and 8 p.m. This is a great opportunity to meet the project team and provide your feedback on how to improve safety, access, and placemaking in and around Village Market, Memorial Park, the library, and Jewel Osco. More information regarding this project, including a link to complete a community survey, is posted on the village's website. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Trustee Stewart. Motion to approve committee and collectors reports as presented.
So moved.
Second.
And motion second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, moving on. I have a few items. First, I'd like to again congratulate the Park District on their project and for including us in it. And as I said at the meeting when we were at your facility, Jessica, things are moving great when you're around. You have involved us. You've created a great environment for working collaboratively together. And we look forward to continuing our development, working with you guys and all that you do for us. So thank you. Some lessons in pickleball would help maybe. The streetscape, as Trustee Stewart mentioned, May 3rd. Don't forget, May 3rd is the streetscape. It's at the LaGrange Park Public Library. I'd like to thank Trustee Stewart, who was the chair of that committee, and Trustee Zora, and Trustee Sheehan, and Maggie Jar, and Julia Cedillo, and all staff that were involved. This is a tremendous project. We're looking forward to the kickoff, and we hope we get a lot of participation from our residents. Okay, I have a few proclamations, so sit back, get your popcorn, here we go. Okay, proclamation recognizing the 50th anniversary of the LaGrange Area Historical Society. Whereas on April 15th, 1972, resident Carolyn Gifford, the Heritage and Architectural Commission, and other civic-minded individuals attended a meeting at the LaGrange Public Library where the concept of the Historical Society was developed. Whereas LaGrange Area Historical Society has demonstrated a tireless commitment to collecting and preserving important memorabilia, historic documents, oral history, and valuable community history. Whereas LaGrange Park Area Historical Society produced and published a centennial history book of the LaGrange area in 1979, raised funds to purchase the Vial House, and created a permanent location for the Historical Society to conduct its mission. Whereas LaGrange Area Historical Society has occupied the historic Vial House since the mid-1980s, recognizing the historical importance of the home built in 1874 as a LaGrange landmark and transforming it into a museum with exhibits on the first floor and a location for the Archive and Research Committee to continue its work. Whereas LaGrange Area Historical Society continues to engage in collaboration and outreach with other community partners to conduct tours, create programs and exhibits, and assist with collaboration related to historic building restoration efforts, such as the Stone Avenue train station, all to promote the richness of the LaGrange Park area history. I threw park in there. Whereas the LaGrange Area Historical Society relies on 40 volunteers to uphold the traditions of hundreds of previous volunteers to run its museum, its programs, and its changing, timely exhibits. Whereas LaGrange Area Historical Society's mission is to bring together people interested in the history of the LaGrange area, to provide a means and facility for study, to disseminate information, and to operate an archive and at a museum. Whereas LaGrange Historical Society's goal is to make history accessible, interesting, and relevant to our current time period. And whereas LaGrange Area Historical Society, under the leadership of President Catherine Paget and guidance of Executive Director Sarah Parks, continues to preserve the history of our time by engaging the LaGrange Park residents during the COVID-19 pandemic and collecting valuable insights of today's citizens living through historic times. Therefore, be it resolved, President Board of Trustees of the Village of LaGrange Park, Cook County, Illinois, that the Village of LaGrange Park recognizes LaGrange Area Historical Society on their 50th anniversary and expresses gratitude for the positive contributions they have made to the community. Next is the proclamation for Arbor Day 2022. Whereas in 1872, Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees. Whereas this holiday called Arbor Day was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska. Whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and world. Whereas trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cut heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce life-giving oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees are a renewable resource, giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. Whereas trees in LaGrange Park increase property values and hence the economic vitality of business areas and beautify our community. And whereas the village of LaGrange Park has been designated a Tree City USA for 35 years by the National Arbor Day Foundation. Whereas trees, wherever they are planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. Therefore, be it proclaimed that the village of LaGrange Park proclaims Friday, April 29, 2022 as Arbor Day. The village of LaGrange Park encourages all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day and to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands. Okay, next is the proclamation, 53rd Annual Professional Municipal Clerks Week. I'll direct this to you. Okay? Whereas the office of the Professional Municipal Clerk, a time-honored and vital part of local government, exists throughout the world. Whereas the office of the Professional Municipal Clerk is the oldest among public servants. Whereas the office of the Professional Municipal Clerk provides a professional link between the citizens, the local governing bodies, and agencies of government at other levels. Whereas professional municipal clerks have pledged to be ever mindful of their neutrality and impartiality, rendering equal service to all. Whereas the professional municipal clerk serves as the information center on functions of local government and community. Whereas professional municipal clerks continually strive to improve the administration of the affairs of the office of the professional municipal clerk through participation in educating programs, seminars, workshops, and the annual meetings of their state, provincial, county, and international professional organizations. Whereas it is most appropriate that we recognize the accomplishments of the office of the professional municipal clerk. Let's see, I want to get on to the important stuff here. Whereas Professional Municipal Clerk Week can further extend appreciation to our professional municipal clerk, Megan, and to all professional municipal clerks for the vital services they perform and their exemplary dedication to the communities they represent. And on behalf of the board and staff, I just want to thank you, Megan, for all the work that you do. Thank you. We have the best clerk. Okay, next is EMS Week, Rising to the Challenge, May 15th to the 21st, 2022. National Emergency Medical Services Week, whereas emergency medical services is a vital public service, whereas the members of our emergency medical services are ready to provide life-saving care to those in need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Whereas our access to quality emergency care can dramatically improve the comfort, survival, and recovery rate of those who experience sudden illness or injury. Whereas the village of LaGrange Park provides a community-based EMS system comprised of well-equipped, well-prepared, and dedicated professionals, paramedics, emergency medical technicians, firefighters, and police officers. And whereas EMS personnel within our village also persevere through many challenges of the pandemic, including caring for the critically ill and working through staff shortages. Now therefore be it proclaimed May 15th to the 21st, 2022 be recognized as National EMS Week. The LaGrange Park Village Board honors our first responder heroes who are dedicated to providing emergency medical care, and the 2022 EMS Week theme, Rising to the Challenge, reminds us all that every day our EMS personnel have continued to be there to respond, support, and care for those in need within our village. In witness thereof, I here set my hand and cause the seal of the village of LaGrange Park to be affixed this day, April 26, 22. We all know how important EMS service and fire service and police service is to our community and our residents, so thank all of you, and please thank all the first responders. Chief, thank you. And the last one, Proclamation, Building Codes in Action, Building Safety Month 2022. Whereas the village of LaGrange Park is committed to recognizing that our growth and strength depends upon the safety and essential role our homes, buildings, and infrastructure play, both in everyday life and when disasters strike. Whereas Building Safety Month is an international campaign celebrated in May to raise awareness about building safety and to reinforce the need for the adoption of modern, regularly updated building codes, helping individuals, families, and businesses understand what it takes to create safe and sustainable structures. Whereas our confidence in the resilience of these buildings that make up our community is achieved through the devotion of vigilant guardians, building safety and fire prevention officials, architects, engineers, builders, tradespeople, design professionals, laborers, plumbers, and others in the construction industry who work year-round to ensure the safe construction of buildings. Whereas all our communities need building codes to protect their citizens from disasters like fires, weather-related events, and structural collapse. Building codes are critically important in protecting homes, offices, schools, manufacturing facilities, stores, and entertainment venues. And whereas Safety for All, Building Codes in Action, the International Code Council Stand for Building Safety Month 2022 encourages us all to raise awareness about planning for safe and sustainable construction, career opportunities in building safety, understanding disaster mitigation, energy conservation, and creating safe and abundant water supply to all our benefit. Be it further resolved, the members of the Grange Park Village Board ask that we come together to support Building Safety Month to recognize the need for codes to enhance building safety, resilience, and economic investment at home and within the village, and to acknowledge the essential services provided to us by those responsible for development, adoption, and enforcement of such codes. So, Chief, thank you, and please give Patrick our thanks for all that he does for us on a daily basis. Now we move on to public participation of non-agenda related items. If anyone would care to address the board, I know that we have some residents in attendance, and I want to thank you for coming tonight to let us hear your concerns or comments. So if anyone would care to address the board, please step up to the mic and give us your name.
Hello. Well, good afternoon. Good evening, board members, and also I made this presentation to the zoning committee when they had the meeting last week. I want to thank Maggie and Mr. Dillo and Susan for helping me with some of the questions that I had regarding my concerns. My name is Mary Lou Gutierrez. I have lived in 417 North Spring Avenue since 1973. There is a 35-foot lot next to my house, south of my house. A permit was granted for an addition to 409 North Spring Avenue in the year 2001. I believe the addition included a building for a kitchen toward the back of the house, as well as a patio, cement rock patio that was installed toward the back. It is my understanding that with the addition of the rock placement and also the addition, more than 50% of the property was covered, and as a result, I have my lot that is 35 foot flood every time it rains. This has been for the last, I would say, since 2001. As a good neighbor, when they asked for a vote to see if they could approve because their lot is very small, I didn't protest it because I wanted to be a good neighbor. But my concern for there is that regarding the issue of the permit, more care is given to the permit issuing because as a result, my lot has lost value when I come to sell the property because it floods. It takes about a week for the water to go down. Every time I have my grandchildren or I want to use the property, if it has rained, I can't do that. Also, my concern is because I am up in age and I'm looking for a house that has one level because my house has 3 levels right now. I'm going to have to tell them that my lot floods, and that's going to decrease the value of my house. I would like to recommend to the village. I've also had the Hancock engineer come to my house and give me an evaluation as to what was causing the flooding. I didn't get that, but he said that it was a little bit low on the land, and that's what was causing it. The other day when I had the meeting, or came to the meeting with the commission of zoning, one of the parents stated that it wasn't my lot, her lot that was causing the rain on my property, but because of the other neighbors around me. And I said, well, I've been here since 1973, and during that time, I didn't have that problem until the addition and the patio was built. I had Mr. Dillard out today at my property.
Time.
What?
30 seconds, Mary.
Okay, and I showed her how the patio is about this big from the ground. So therefore, the height is too high, and then all the water goes down to my property. I just want to be informative so that, more care or a lot of care is taken into the permits that are approved. And I saw the permit, and it said that it would be approved so long as there would be no flooding. And you know, it did cause flooding. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments, Mary. Anyone else care to address the board?
Hi, my name is Alexandria Zuck. I'm a longtime resident here at Grange Park, and I just wanted to tag on to your Arbor Day proclamation and let you know that this Friday, the Park District will be hosting a tree planting event at Memorial Park. That's April 29th at 4 o'clock to 5:30. You're all welcome, and all residents as well. We hope that you can join us. We're going to be planting an Ohio Buckeye, okay? The library is also partnering with us in providing some activities for community members as well, so it's good for all ages to join. Okay.
Alexandra, thank you. Did you know Dr. Cordy went to Michigan State, though? Ohio State
It may have
Buckeyes,
been discussed
sorry.
at one of our meetings.
Sorry.
It might have come up.
Thank you, Alexandra. We'll be there, the 29th. Any other comments from any residents? No? Thank you for coming tonight, though. Any new business? Motion to move into executive session?
Make a motion to move into executive session to discuss the selection of a person to fill a village commission committee according to 5 ILCS 120/2C3, not to return to regular session until the next regularly scheduled board meeting.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Megan, call the roll.
Trustee Lautner?
Yes.
Trustee Zara? Trustee Seidel?
Yes.
Trustee Council?
Yes.
Trustee Sheehan?
Yes.
Trustee Stewart?
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously, Mr. President.
Thank you, Megan. We'll move into executive session.